2022-2023 has been a season for parity in the NBA. We've seen the likes of Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and even DeJounte Murray be moved around to create more space in the NBA. And in all of this, the Raptors should have had a chance to come through and solidify themselves in one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Except they have been struggling, and as of right now, they are currently hovering right around the play-in and out of the play-in spot. We've seen them come in, come out of injuries. We've seen them win and lose, and we've also seen them go on some really depressing losing streaks. Not winning, but losing streaks. But you know what they say, whenever you go on a losing streak, at some point you got to put it together on a winning streak. So you guys, 2023 is just around the corner. The Raptors look like themselves right now, a little bit shaky, a little bit not confident, and a whole lot of lack of defense for this team. Where do you guys, you know what, give me 3 top flaws, each of you, that you see the Raptors struggling with right now, and the areas that you think should be the immediate most concerning areas for them to cover as soon as possible.
One of my biggest problems is that they can't immediately fix.
What is that?
That is, they need to have more talent. They don't.
I just said immediately fix. The top 3 immediately fix.
Well, it's quite clear.
Shooting,
interior presence, depth.
But can you fix that immediately though? Can you fix it?
You can fix some of it in the trade deadline, right?
I mean, you can make a move.
You can make moves. They can acquire pieces.
If you want to panic, you could.
Panic.
I don't think it's panic mode yet. Though.
No, but
you know why? Because the Raptors, look, they're not playing well this season so far. But it's also the injuries. I think people are also forgetting that we haven't had continuity. We haven't had time to gel because either Siakam out, OG's out, Gary's in and out of the lineup. Even guys like Kim Birch, that's your depth. He's been out too. Precious. So that's why the Raptors aren't playing well. Yes, the lack of talent is there. It's quite clear. Okay? And the shooting, obviously. But at the same time, you can say the Raptors have not been a team that has had their guys out there. That's also why you're seing healthier teams play better so far.
That's why you need depth and talent. We'll talk about talent.
Yeah, that's why I said depth.
So, but when I say that's not an immediate fix though, right, is all depends on what the objectives are for this season. Are you going to trade away assets to bring in talent that can help this year, or are you going to...
If you're going to hover around this position...
There's no point.
You have to... I think you should make a move.
I would just run in the course of it. What are you going to do then?
I'm like, at this point, okay, so I'm thinking, what do they want to do? What does Masai and Bobby want?
I think to your point where you mentioned that the Raptors, if they haven't been healthy, they need to have more years, not more years, a couple more weeks to gel together, see what this team looks like when they're at 100% health. But I think that also tells you that this team has no bench. And what we've seen in years prior to this Raptors team is even when someone else is out, in my eyes, injuries create bench mobs. When the one guy is out, it's time for the next man up to come on the court and be the guy. Exactly, be guy. And we just haven't seen that yet. Whether that's up to Nick Nurse because he does not trust that team, or it's just because we don't have that talent, that consistent talent that's coming off the bench. Because like you said, if you're healthy, it's a vicious cycle. You're healthy. You get injured. You have to go off to get rehabbed. The team can't afford to lose you because they have no depth. They have to bring you back in. You're still barely
all over the place.
Absolutely. You're barely healthy so far. So the second you get brought in, you get injured all over again. So I think a big part of that has to be depth. And that could be an immediate fix, right? That could be done at the trade deadline.
What I mean by that is when I look at the Toronto Raptors, right? I don't think of Masai Ujiri as I think Masai Ujiri is one of the smartest executives in the entire NBA, right? I don't see him as the type of guy to make a panic move just for the sake of salvaging a year or trying to make something out of nothing, right? If I have watched Masai Ujiri and I kind of understand him, to my level of understanding, right? I think he's the type of guy that, you know what? If we take a step back this year, right? If we do, you're probably going to lose certain players in free agency. If you sell off assets and, bring in some other stuff to replenish the system, build on depth, right? Create more cap space to sign depth players, to have assets come to trade to get a higher level talent. That might be something that helps the long-term success. I don't think
we know you have one idea for Masai Ujiri and Bobby Western. I know that it involves the Lakers and Westbrook. So if you want to take that to court again and let the people hear about it.
No, I mean, what I said a couple weeks ago before was that the Raptors should really consider trying to package in Scotty Barnes. Sorry, not Scotty Barnes. Well, that would be something Scotty Barnes, right? Package Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., and for Russell Westbrook and whatever to make the money work. And here's the thing: those 2 last first-round picks from the LA Lakers. But as Russell Westbrook kind of morphed into that bench role of the Lakers, I don't know if the Lakers would want to do
No,
that.
they wouldn't.
Right?
Because
They
he's
would.
playing well.
He's playing
in the
well.
Sixth Man of the Year
So
talks.
I don't know what the Raptors can do. Look, it's very clear to me that I don't think Gary Trent is going to be a part of this core going forward.
No,
He's
I
not.
think.
I think when you look at the Toronto
done.
Raptors core, I think Masai's guys clearly, as much as it pains me to say this, Scotty, OG, and Pascal. I think OG and Pascal, if you trade them, you could really restart a new era of the Toronto Raptors. But he's not going to do that because those are his guys, and he's got a deep connection with them, and he won't do
Well,
it.
you mentioned those guys, but I think Nick Nurse guy is also Fred VanVleet. So in that way, that core still somehow sticks together, if that makes sense.
But then that's what I'm saying. If all these egos and all these relationships are getting in the way and clouding decision of the future of the franchise, then that's not smart. What was Masai Ujiri's crowning moment? A cutthroat moment where he traded the most
beloved
guy, the only guy that said, I want to beat Toronto. He traded him in the middle of the night to San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard. And it paid off. That is what you have to be cutthroat in this industry if you want to be successful. And you can't rest on your laurels.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think if they look at the Eastern Conference, where do they see themselves? Where do the Raptors see the future of this, this season going? Right? Because to be quite honest with you, I don't see much happening. Right? Do you want to stand pat or do you want to make a move? And I don't think they should panic. I will say a lot of fans want that, right? But again, who are you going to get back? That's one thing. A lot of people, they always want the trades to happen, but who are you getting back? What assets are coming through the door? You mentioned it. If you do leave OG, like if you want to move off OG, if you want to also make a big move off of Siakam, yeah, a lot of assets are going to come in the door. But if that happens, then you're definitely telling everybody it's Scotty's time now. This is Scotty's team. And you're going to build for moving forward. Do you want to do that yet?
He's not there yet.
I don't think you want to do that yet. If I'm Masai or Bobby, I don't think we should be going down that path right now.
As a fan, I don't want to see that product either.
Because it's gonna be a few years before relevancy.
If you want to think about a glass half full perspective, if you leave it all to Scotty, then you'll see. Okay, it's kind of that sink or swim method. Can he be
that guy?
Can he be a carrier, or does he need to be carried?
But I think it's too early for him to be that
thank you.
kind of
It's too.
I totally agree with you guys on that. I'm just saying that.
No, I know. Well, my question is this, okay? And I think it actually goes off of Jelani's point about how we haven't seen the team be healthy in a very long time. You've seen Pascal go in and out, Gary, OG, Freddie, and they haven't really. I want to see the stats on how many games have actually played together as one, and I'm sure it's going to be super low already this season. Probably. Obviously, we've seen that in prior years too, where that's my point, I think, because we've seen that in prior years where the Raptors, their core, had very little time on the court together, right? But they were able to result those into wins because you had the depth coming up after you. Fred didn't have to rush back. Siakam didn't have to rush back. And those guys ended up being the bench mob for you guys. So let's say the Raptors get healthy. Let's say Nick Nurse, Bobby, Masai, they go out and they get someone who's able to be not just a good contribution off the bench, but someone that Nick Nurse trusts, right? A couple of those guys that can be a 6th, 7th man off the bench. I think at that point, you can easily also expect Delano Banton to do well because he was doing pretty great at the beginning of the season, as well as Malachi Flynn, who obviously is a defensive factor there where he was not going to play that. But I don't see how in any world you can't use a 5-minute spark off the bench from Malachi. I don't understand how that can be useful in every single game.
Trust
right?
or lack thereof.
Right?
That's what I mean. But my thing is, let's say you bring in those guys. Let's say this team is healthy. Is this a good enough spot for you guys to see how far this squad will go with this core?
I think we know how far we already know how far they're going to go.
We know it. I think, again, we talk about it on multiple shows. It's the ceiling. It's been hit.
First round. It's a first round team.
Because when you're talking about the few years, right? Okay, the last year with Kyle, saw what happened in the playoffs, right? But then,
they didn't make the playoffs.
2020, I meant. 2020, I meant. Yeah. We saw what happened then. Then the Tampa thing was just a mess. You missed the playoffs.
That's
then,
kind of a write-off here.
But now you're starting from square one. I think the Raptors are one of those teams in the East that is in a very tough spot. Like they're in the
worst position
in terms of teams that would be hovering around lottery. They're too good for that.
I think
they're such a good team that you don't see them as a lottery team, but at the same time, they're so good. So no, they're not as good. They're not as good.
My thing is with the Raptors, I think they're one addition on to being a contender, but they're also one offload being off from being a tank.
We've been saying that addition for years.
They're in that little area.
The Raptors are one big piece away from being
I
A
just said
piece
that.
away.
Contend. Yeah, they're one big piece away from being a piece away.
Because I don't
Right?
even think, even if we bring somebody in the door, I don't like the roster construction. I don't even think that will save us.
For example, if you want to get a big star, right, especially in Toronto, you're gonna have to give up a lot to get it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And look what happened. Carmelo Anthony, who made that move? Masai
Masai
Ujiri.
Ujiri.
He got a Paul to basically strip the New York
And
Knicks
now,
of
do
everything
you want to gut your team?
for a star.
Yeah.
But you think is
And the thing is, the bench is not even playing well. So do you want to gut that out
exactly
for
what it
somebody?
is.
we haven't noticed Otto Porter all season. I haven't noticed anybody on the bench all
Well,
this year.
the trade
forgot we signed
deadline is going to be coming up in February. And as the guys just mentioned, we haven't seen the bench play. And that also means that no one has really got their trade value up yet. So we'll see what the Masai Ujiri can do in the back end. He is one of the best GMs in the league right now and probably of all time in the NBA. So I trust him.
Ooh,
We
that's a
should
hot
trust
take,
him.
right? That's a
He
big
is.
take.
He
That's a
hot
definitely
take.
is. I'm sorry. But getting
All
Kawhi here
time.
and getting a championship solidifies him
know.
as one of the best. So
One of the best, yes.
well, I said one of the
Currently,
best. I
not
didn't
of
say
all.
the best. I
No,
said
you said
one of the best
of all time.
No, I said one of the best of all time. Justin, I
That's a
think your
hot take.
ears need to be clean.
You can make the case, but
you can't
I
make
think
you could.
you
One
could.
title?
You could make the case.
One
bro.
title?
You could.
Look at what he did with the Raptors. Look at the We the
look at
North
years.
era. Look at afterwards. He
No,
I'm telling
I-
Justin, I don't think so, but you can make the
Okay.
case.
You can
for it.
easily.
That's what I'm saying.
You should think so, and you can make the case. The 2013 Norby the North era. Let's go with his beloved, loyal DeMar DeRozan to bring in Kawhi, who did not want to be here. Fleeced the San Antonio Spurs, got $5 million luxury after that, and they won the championship that year. So
I'm just
I
saying.
don't know.
I'm just saying.
That's all I'm gonna
just
say.
saying.
I don't know.
Anyway,
And
we're
we'll
in
see you
Denver
next
soon.
time on Homestand NBA.